help local companies with international aspirations thrive for achieving their business goals. Bringing over 20 years of experience, she began her career at Bank of America in 2001. She volunteers with several nonprofit organizations focused on supporting women in business, financial literacy, empowerment, and ending hunger and homelessness. She has strong ties to Island Harvest, the Miller Business Resource Center, and Habitat for Humanity. She cares deeply about raising young women in the professional world. To this end, she is a mentor for the Moxie Foundation and 10,000 Coffees. She also serves on the Stony Brook Alumni Association Board of Directors and the Middle Country Library Foundation Board. Originally from Denver with strong roots in her South Asian heritage, Shahnilla graduated magna cum laude with an undergraduate degree in business management from Stony Brook University. She resides in South Setauket with her husband, where they raised their 3 daughters. She will tell you more about her remarkable story. Please welcome Shahnilla Jamal.
Good morning. Wow. This is just amazing to be here together today. There's a special electricity in this space. There's a lot of energy, and the air is just charged with hope and so much happiness for what's ahead. I hope that you all are feeling it as much as I am. Congratulations to all of you, the amazing class of 2022. You made it. I'd like to start by saying thank you to the trustees of the board, the distinguished faculty and staff, and Dean London for asking me here today. And I think we need to express a sincere and heartfelt thanks to all the important and special people in your lives that helped get you here, including the amazing parents, our supportive families, and wonderful friends. Let's give them a round of applause as well. So my very first thought when Dean London's office reached out and asked me to speak here was, oh my God, why on earth would they ask me to speak at commencement? I'm just a banker, I'm not famous, nobody knows me, I don't have a rags to riches story. Clearly I'm not Taylor Swift. I think she wasn't willing to come past exit 49, and if you've been on the expressway, you know what I'm talking about. So why me? Every insecurity that I've ever had about myself came to life as little demons of self-doubt whispered in my ears. I told my daughters and said there was no way that I could do it. What pearls of wisdom could I possibly impart to these brilliant young minds? They told me to put my imposter syndrome away. You'll be great, Mom. You can represent all the women like you by sharing your story. Once I made up my mind, I decided to get to work. And like many of you these past couple of months, I felt like a college student again. Why? I suddenly had a deadline to write what felt like a final term paper. So I set a reminder in my calendar twice a week after work. I would be diligent and organized, put my thoughts down, and get it done well ahead of time. Also, like many of you this week, I was up most of the last 2 nights working on it. If anyone had told me in December of 2000 at my commencement that I would be speaking to the graduating class of 2022, I never would have believed them. 22 years ago, I was sitting in this arena where you are with my 2 young daughters. They were 4 and 5 at the time, my husband, my mom, and my brother. I was so excited that I had achieved something really great. I completed my bachelor's degree in business management and was graduating magna cum laude with 2 kids and a job while running a bustling household. It was such a big deal for me. You see, my story might be a little different than some of yours, though some of you might actually be able to relate. I'm the daughter of immigrant parents, a first-generation Pakistani American. I was born and brought up in the US and moved to Pakistan when I was 12. I finished high school there, got married young, and moved back to America and then landed in Long Island. I still remember feeling sorry for myself shortly after I had had my second child 26 years ago, knowing that I had not attended college. It was something I'd always envisioned for myself, but now, with my two sweet little innocent baby girls staring up at me helplessly from my lap, it was a very blurred and unclear vision, and I couldn't see it happening. My mother was visiting me at the time and gave me a much-needed dose of encouragement and a little bit of tough love during my pity party. She said to me, "This is America, a place where it doesn't matter how old you are. People of all ages go back to school and work to achieve their dreams. There's a university 10 minutes away from here. Why don't you look into taking some classes and see what they say?" At the time, I did not realize that I was about to embark on a 4-year journey at a university that I now like to think of as the Harvard of Long Island. This is such a great place. Thank you to my mom. We've come full circle today. She's here with me today. And that is how I began my relationship with Stony Brook. It was a challenging 4 years. I learned a lot about myself and my work ethic during that time. I had to be extremely organized, and I juggled a full course load, 2 kids under the age of 5, a part-time job, and a steady stream of visitors from overseas. You see, we're brown, and that means that if you live in New York, you are hosting international guests on a very regular basis. It was a hectic time managing our family's day-to-day life. At school, I had my own personal set of private challenges. I was a minority, a woman, a mother, and older than most of my peers. So I stuck out like a bit of a sore thumb and wasn't quite sure how I fit in. I made a concerted effort not to overthink it at the time. I told myself it didn't matter. I would just keep my head down, stay focused and committed, and do my best. It was a juggling act. And like many of you will learn in time, a steady, supportive partner can play a significant role in helping you succeed. My husband was and still is my rock today, and he helped me and us keep it together. This would be our rhythm for the next 4 years as I went from one semester to the next and completed the journey. It became the foundation for how I organized my life going forward, not just as a student, but personally and professionally as well. I didn't quite realize it at the time, but it was the boot camp that prepared me to be a better version of myself in all of my future roles. Once I graduated and began working, I soon realized that I was again an other. Once again, I was a minority, a woman working in a male-dominated field, constantly trying to figure out if I really fit in and whether I truly belonged. I drew on my past experience from Stony Brook University, and I put my head down and got to work. I have done this over and over, repeatedly through the years, and times felt isolated and alone. It's really hard sometimes. But despite all the hurdles, the challenges, and the self-doubt, I was able to build a successful career by moving through the industry, starting from a junior position in the retail bank and working my way up to becoming a senior relationship manager in the commercial bank. Along the way, I've had to stretch and learn in order to grow both professionally and personally, constantly overcoming obstacles while stepping outside, well outside of my comfort zone. Kind of like what I'm doing here today. I still work at it. There's so much to learn and so much to do, and I'm continuously evolving while learning from my mentors, my coworkers, my family, my children, my mentees, and my amazing sisterhood of friends. And all of this while being guided by my departed angels. I tell you this story today because we all share a common thread. Our individual journeys will always tie us together as part of the fabric of the Stony Brook community. Each one of us has had to overcome a slew of challenges to get to this day. But you, the graduating class of 2022, are truly special. You've had to try and stay focused during a time when our country, our political system, and sadly our world has been completely disrupted and shaken. The past few years have created obstacles that no one could have imagined in their wildest dreams entering college 4 years ago. Moving to remote learning, adapting to meeting new people through a screen and from behind a mask, Attempting to focus and learn in quarantine while suffering the losses and the mental impacts of COVID has been traumatic and tremendously difficult, to say the least. And you did all of this while finding your voice as individuals during the turmoil of a polarized government, a renewed reckoning with racial injustice, countless humanitarian conflicts across the globe, and now what may be one of the most tragic eras for women's rights as we watch the unfolding attack on Roe v. Wade, the consequences of which could have an incredibly negative impact on women and our whole society for decades to come. I mention this last point because, as a woman of color who has shattered many ceilings and expectations placed on me because of my identity, I try to advance women's rights, their empowerment, their education, and equality in all walks of life, in everything that I do. I will say this to all the self-identifying women in this audience today, including my third and youngest daughter who is entering her junior year here. As you go out into the world with the privileges of this degree, as well as the individual burdens and challenges that you each face, I encourage you to be the kind of woman that raises up other women. Lean in when an opportunity is presented, or strive to create one, and try to bring along those who may still be overlooked, unheard, or unsure of themselves. And for everyone else, I hope that you too will support women and others who have historically been marginalized and excluded, and reckon with your own biases to help create spaces for them to lead. As you get ready to step into the world beyond this academic cocoon, you will interact with and meet people coming from various walks of life with different perspectives. You may not always see eye to eye or agree on fundamental principles or beliefs, and that's okay. The thing to remember is that we are actually better together because of our differences. Be kind and respectful of others' positions, suspend your judgment, and be open to looking through their lens. I have learned that every obstacle and challenge you encounter in the workplace or in your personal relationships will be easier to navigate with an open mind and a respectful outlook. Be curious and willing to grow by learning from others. And never, never, never underestimate the power of hard work and have faith in yourself. It will always serve you well. And when things get tough out there, and believe me, they will, and you feel like you're alone, just take a pause. None of us is ever really alone. Reach out to someone that has your back. They might be sitting here with you today, next to you. They could be someone from your past, your family, your friends, or the friends that you'll meet along the way. I guess what I'm trying to say is find your tribe, your champions, your posse, your village, and your cheerleaders. Those that believe in you unwaveringly and without judgment. These like-minded individuals will inspire you and build you up when you get in your own way and can't see the forest for the trees. Our need to feel like we belong and feel validated is fundamental to being a human. If we can become more self-aware and recognize this need within others, it'll create a more empathetic and kinder society. If you see someone struggling or feeling like they don't belong, go tell them they're doing all right. Tell them to keep going, to just keep at it. People just want to know that they're doing okay and feel validated enough to keep pushing through. Try to be the catalyst that spurs others to do good. I promise you, it will feel good to help someone along their path. I had said earlier I wasn't sure what pearls of wisdom I could leave you with today. I hope I've shared a few from my experience. I'd like to leave you with one last thought, something that I wish I learned earlier on, but I had to kind of figure out through trial and error over the years. There's a lot of talk about authenticity. When I was a young adult, I always struggled with whether or not I belonged, whether I was being too brown or too Muslim. Was I smart enough? Was I being too submissive? Was I assertive enough? As a brown woman, was I too assertive? And I often shied away from my true self so I wouldn't draw too much attention, and in the hope that maybe I would just blend in and fit in better. I was recovering and code switching to a degree that felt exhausting at times. And it was inauthentic to who I was and who I was becoming as I was growing into myself. My advice, I would strongly encourage you to lean into your true self. Let the true you dictate how you live your life, interact with your coworkers, and manage your decisions. Once you let go of who you think you're supposed to be and embrace who you really are, your true self will shine through and you'll show up as the very best version of yourselves. People will see that and appreciate you for being genuine and authentic. I'm truly humbled and honored to have had the opportunity to speak with all of you on this special occasion, and I'm so thankful for all the hard work that was done by all of the girl bosses before me, who really helped pave the way for me to be asked to stand here today. And I'm really glad to be able to represent the young women who might still be insecure about who you aspire to be. It is such a beautiful affirmation of my journey. I urge you all to move forward while remembering those who have supported you, recognize them, thank them. Gratitude is such a powerful source of joy. Think of little ways to pay it forward and give back in ways that play on your unique strengths and experiences, whether it's through volunteerism, mentorship, advocacy, public service, or just random acts of charity and kindness. Keep working hard with authenticity and gratitude to get to where you want to go. I wish you all the very best as you go out there and find your best selves while building a future full of happiness and tremendous success. It's been a privilege to be here with you today. Congratulations, class of 2022.
Good morning.